All right, welcome to the New Equity Network show. Thanks for joining with us today. We've got a full lineup for you. Our first guest on the show, and by the way, let me introduce Ed Baxter as my co-host, trusty co-host.
Morning, Michael.
All right, and we also have Jarrett Fabriello in the studio with us, too. He might chime in or two as we go through the interviews. But first, let's bring on a guy that's been really breaking a lot of records with a new product, CJ Comu, Chairman, Earthwater PLC. And CJ, thank you so much for taking the time, such short notice, and being on the show. Appreciate it. Uh-oh. Well, looks like we don't have CJ Comu. We're going to try and bring him on the show here in just a little bit. But in the meantime, Ed, thanks for showing up. I really appreciate you coming on to the show. And Jared, thanks for coming into the studio.
My pleasure, Michael.
All right, Ed, why don't we do this until we can find CJ to bring him on the show? Let's see if we can talk about some of the things that we're going to be doing on the show. Jared, you came into the studio. Let's give the audience, this is the first time on the KBCE 1160 Dallas Business Authority show, to talk to us about the different things that you see going on in capital formation, new rules, new regulations that are coming up.
Sure. So recently we've seen a dramatic shift in the capital markets in terms of small corporate capital formation. Probably a lot of people have heard of 506C. That was a rule change that the SEC made a few years back.
Hang on a second. Did you find CJ? All right. Thanks, Mike. That's our board operator, Mike Clark. Thanks so much, Michael. All right, CJ, we just introduced you. We were starting to go down another path here with Jared, but I'm glad you made it to the show. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, Michael. I apologize if there was any miscommunication, but I am on standby. Looking forward to our conversation.
Okay, good. Jared, you don't mind?
No, not at all.
Okay, great. All right, CJ, you are the chairman of Earthwater PLC. Let's get a little background on the guy, you and I think your trustee partner, Merv Price, steering the ship here. And you've done a remarkable job of coming from nowhere to a bottling plant and all kinds of distribution with this product that's really, really good for everybody. Talk to us about you and Merv a little bit, and then let's get right into Earthwater, what you're doing, and you know, what does it do for people and where we're going.
Great, Michael. Thanks again for having me on your show. Earthwater PLC was actually started about 2 years ago, kind of by chance, sort of a quick meeting when I was in London having lunch with one of my business partners, and met a gentleman that was drinking this kind of an interesting black mixture of concentrate with his water and his tea, and had started to have some astounding results. His body changes and complexion and tenacity and work habits. So I started to learn into more about what this concentrate was, and that led us onto a rather interesting expedition to figure out what in the world is this fulvic humic composition. I'll fast forward the story because I don't want to bore a lot of the listeners listening in, but Earthwater.com was born, and eventually a new product was created in the marketplace called Fulham. That's Fulhum, or Fulham.com, a combination of trace minerals from the earth, actually dug way beneath the earth. And these trace minerals are the minerals that are in our soil group that give us the micronutrients to allow our fruits and our vegetables to grow and to obviously provide minerals to keep our bodies in check and keep us healthier. But these minerals were really never put into a finished, ready-to-drink product like we've created. And along the way, we were successful into helping lead one of the acquisitions of the perhaps the largest bottling facility here in the state of Texas. And with that allowed us to prepare and produce our first finished product, which is a very iconic bottle. It has a picture of the globe on it, and it flares out, and then went into retail distribution in July 1st of 2014. And, of course, leading the charge with me was my partner, Merv Price, who has done a spectacular job on not only leading the acquisition of the bottling facility, but has been the backbone for all of our production and our IP, our patents, our trademarks, and all of the other stuff. So it's a big story, and I'd love to obviously answer some questions and kind of give some filler to what we've been doing. But we're in retail, we've launched, and we're really creating a big splash in the water industry because no one has seen this iconic bottle and what we've created with this product called Fulham, which is over 70 trace minerals, a +9 pH, and alkaline-based water. And it obviously is very exciting for us and for those people that are drinking the product.
All right, now let me jump in there with a question or two. You said 77 trace minerals you said over 70, but I see on the data here about Earthwater or Fulham. You've got 77 trace minerals. Are these kind of the minerals that have been lacking in our food since the real prolific move for GMO, genetically modified organisms?
Yes, it is an unfortunate circumstance of what's happening, and some of it really is a result of the over-farming. And much of the minerals that we used to have, and I'll give you one short example. A tomato used to have approximately 60 minerals about 20, 30 years ago, when we would enjoy and you'd bite into it and say, "My God, this is delicious." And people have experienced that with different types of vegetables and fruits around the world. The taste is what carries the minerals inside it. Now, due to the over-farming, the soil has really depleted much of the mineral composition. So, unfortunately, we are talking about things like this genetically modified foods that you're referring to. And this deposit that actually lies beneath the earth is where we're going down there to acquire the fulvicubic composition, which gets transported to a laboratory, which creates the liquid concentrate, which is then shipped to our bottling facility in Dallas, Texas, where we finish making the product.
All right. Now, if I get this right, it's not just the minerals that you're talking about. It's the way that you separate them. I guess the term is milling them to the point where they actually can mix with regular bottled water and your other foods so that you actually absorb them into your system. They don't just pass through. Am I connecting the dot there correctly?
You've done a great job on sort of describing a little bit of the science behind it. People have asked us, how do you get a truckload of mineral composition and then liquefy it to a sub-nano micro size and then be able to infuse it into the water? There is an actual proprietary formula that is done by the lab before the concentrate does show up at our bottling facility. But the key is when you drink a bottle of Fulham, two things. One, of course, it is odorless. Two, it tastes like water. But the most important thing that you're putting into your body is not only the +9 pH, the alkaline water, but you're putting up to 77 trace minerals into your body. That's number one requirement, is to fight off bacteria and disease, reducing that and increasing your ability to perform and your body functions and be more productive on a day-to-day basis. But it is a science on how it is transformed from the mineral composition to the liquid concentrate. And then, of course, we do the bottling at our facility, taking the liquid concentrate and making the finished product.
You've got a pretty big bottling facility. Tell us about it.
Well, this facility was actually financed by a private equity group out of the Ukraine, and I think they were almost $24 million into it when we've all seen on the world when, Ukraine kind of went up in flames, and they were sort of walking away from much of their U.S. investments, and they were sort of walking away from this plant. And we were just fortunate that we led the acquisition with another private equity group here in Dallas, and not only helped save an institution that was started back in 1955, which had a lot of history, a lot of jobs, and a lot of value, but saved it from a bankruptcy, saved it from shutting down, and a lot of people losing their jobs. So, number one, we're very proud of the fact that we did that. But number two, of course, is we're able to have a kind of a preferred position when it comes to running our product line at this bottling facility. And it's just nice to be able to have done two things. One, successfully lead the acquisition and stop the closure of an icon here in Dallas, and number two, launch our products, which are being bottled at that facility.
All right, now we have just 1 minute left, but I wanted to bring something out. Plus pH 9 alkaline, that means something. Can you briefly describe it, and then we can talk more about it on the other segment after the break?
Sure. I mean, pH goes from 1 to about 15. There's negative and positive pH. Without getting into the science of it, and we certainly make no medical claims whatsoever on pH. From a scientific perspective, a 9 pH is the ultimate pH that a body needs. And there has been some studies shown that a lot of the toxins in the body will not breed or grow in a 9 pH. So it's the optimal system to have in your body to cleanse your body and to create the best level of purity.
Does that you say toxins? Does that include like cancer?
Well, again, these are third-party reports. We can't validate them, but from what we have read and what we have learned, cancer is not able to grow in a 9 pH. So obviously that is a significant point for many people to look at. But again, we're talking about putting trace minerals, a 9 pH, into the body to help make it stronger and be able to have remove the powerful antioxidants and the natural electrolytes and put the trace minerals into the system.
All right, let's take a break right now. CJ will be back on the other side with more interesting conversation about Fulham and Earthwater.com.